Welcome to Tulum, Mexico. This artsy enclave is known for its white sand beaches, dazzling cenotes, and ancient Mayan ruins. We're Jake and Emily, the two roaming souls. We're experienced travelers who make helpful guides about the world's best destinations. A trip to Tulum can mean different things to different people, from the trendy beach clubs and social media hotspots to the pure natural beauty and history. So depending on what interests you, you can seek out a variety of different attractions. But you will notice that prices can range from very affordable at some of the local establishments to extremely expensive resorts and restaurants. And since we're more budget-conscious travelers, Tulum really put our money-saving skills to the test. Truly, our favorite part was any activity or restaurant where we got to witness the locals' passion for the area. But whatever it is you're seeking, we'll help you find it. So let's get into our top 10 things to do in Tulum.
Get local Mexican food from an authentic restaurant. Certainly you didn't come to Mexico to miss out on some of the delicious Mexican cuisine. And while you can get Mexican food almost anywhere in Tulum, we found the Mexican food in the touristy areas to be expensive and more like gringo-style Mexican food. So we want to share some of our favorite local spots. Chez Coco is an absolute must-visit. We were already impressed with the coffee and food before the owner walked up and shared her heartwarming story and made us feel so welcome to the area. You will need to walk or ride through a more authentic part of Tulum, but I promise you will not be disappointed with the vibe of the restaurant, service, and welcoming atmosphere. For the super affordable and authentic Mexican food, it's best to go into the town of Tulum. One spot that we recommend is Taqueria Honorio. They have delicious tacos along with other classics like chips and guac, empanadas, and more. Also head over to another local favorite, Taqueria La Chiapaneca. You can't miss the juicy spinning kebabs right from the sidewalk. Of course, there are plenty of high-end Mexican restaurants around Tulum, but they can't compete with these local gems on price and authentic flavor. I do just want to take a moment to talk about Safety Wing, our personal recommendation for travel medical insurance. When we travel, we get into all kinds of new adventures, like riding a motorbike, going on tours, and trying new local foods and drinks. But with new adventures comes some risk, like possible injuries or some food or drink that might make you sick. So we love using Safety Wing as our travel medical insurance because it gives us peace of mind knowing we're covered in case of a medical emergency while traveling in different countries, especially when things like food and drinking water are out of our control. Their plans are super affordable and come with a $0 deductible. They also cover things like lost luggage, trip interruptions, travel delays, and even injuries from leisure sports and activities. For riskier activities, they offer an additional coverage option too. You'll notice us riding a motorbike around in this video. And anything over a 50cc engine requires the Adventure Sports add-on, of course with proper licensing and safety gear. As US citizens, our driver's licenses are accepted in Mexico, and with the added risk of motorbiking, it's reassuring to know that Safety Wing has our backs in case of an accident. We've dropped a link in the top right corner and down in the description so you can check out Safety Wing for your next trip.
Visit a cenote. Tulum is known for its abundance of beautiful cenotes. They are natural holes in the limestone bedrock that provide access to clear groundwater beneath. Cenotes come in all shapes and sizes, ranging from massive caves to open-air watering holes, and many combinations of the two. Since the ancient Mayans up until modern day, cenotes have been admired for their beauty and life-sustaining water. They offer a variety of activities like swimming, snorkeling and diving, cliff jumping, wildlife viewing, or just appreciating the natural beauty. And their level of development varies greatly too. From free undeveloped cenotes to fully built up attractions with docks, restaurants, and more. So depending on what type of experience you're looking for, you can let that guide which cenotes you choose to visit. Two of the most popular cenotes near Tulum are Gran Cenote and Cenote Calavera. Gran Cenote is an absolutely incredible place to snorkel, surrounded by turtles, fish, and bats. It's 500 pesos or $30 per person, but in my opinion, well worth it for one of the most immersive snorkeling experiences of my life. Cenote Calavera is another popular one near Tulum. That's a great spot for cliff jumping or just swimming around the crystal clear water. It's 250 pesos or $17. I'm not even going to pretend to claim that these are the best cenotes around. There are dozens of them just around Tulum, so it would take months to try them all. But a few others that were recommended to us were Dos Ojos and Maya Muyil. Oh, and something to be aware of, since cenotes are such delicate ecosystems, not only are things like sunscreen and bug spray prohibited, but many might also require you to shower before entry. That was really cool, like being in the cave with like bats flying around and turtles and fish and everything. Crystal clear water. I wasn't sure what to expect, but that was super cool.
Hey, if you're enjoying this video, give it a like to help our channel grow. Book a snorkel boat tour. Tulum offers access to the Mesoamerican Reef, which stretches over 700 miles from the tip of the Yucatan Peninsula all the way to Honduras. The Mesoamerican Reef is the second largest coral reef system in the world. It's also often referred to as the Great Mayan Reef. I do want to urge you to either not apply sunscreen until after your snorkeling adventure, or to use a reef-safe sunscreen. We personally recommend Stream to Sea, as they not only have a reef-safe sunscreen, but also a coral care sunscreen, which helps nourish the reefs. While there are some threats to the reef that are out of our control, choosing the right sunscreen can help make a small impact. The easiest way to visit this reef is to book a tour or hire a guide. We booked a half-day catamaran cruise that included transportation, open bar, lunch, snorkeling, and even paddleboarding. All around, we had an absolute blast. We'll link to that cruise if that sounds like something you'd be interested in. You can also often book snorkel tours right from the public beach. For example, you'll see many boats lined up at the Playa Pescadores. It's no longer free to enter, as you will need to pay the national park fee, which is about $15 per person. Or if you want to go right from the shores and see a bunch of marine life, consider driving up to Akumal Bay. The reef is close to the shore, so there's no need to ride a boat. Rather, you can snorkel right from there.
Sian Biosphere Reserve. Tulum is adjacent to a massive ecological preserve that features impressive wetlands, covering the fascinating transition from freshwater lagoons to a maze of brackish mangroves, and finally joining with the Caribbean Sea. I would say that most people who visit Tulum will miss this incredible place, because booking a tour is the only way you will truly experience it. And admittedly, the tours are rather pricey, but by providing transportation, breakfast and lunch, and a knowledgeable tour guide, you'll probably agree that it's well worth the cost. It's guided by a Mayan community-based organization who has absolutely stellar guides. Our tour guide Manuel shared so much knowledge and passion about Mayan culture, the unique geology, and local plants and animals. The highlight of the tour for us was floating through the freshwater rivers, meandering through the mangroves, full of life. You float down the crystal clear river, spotting wildlife, and being practically in disbelief of the beauty of your surroundings. And one of the most exhilarating parts of the trip was our boat captain zipping through the narrow waterways with surgical precision. And then the tour boat took us out to the manatee feeding grounds. Our guides knew exactly how to find them, even though they can hold their breath for up to 20 minutes. Then we moved on to look for crocodiles. We didn't come across any adult crocodiles that day, but we did see a baby crocodile that couldn't have been more than a foot long. And then we saw the outlet of some underwater rivers pumping tons of fresh water up into the lagoon. Between this experience and visiting cenotes, you definitely get a sense for how many wonders lie just below the surface. This tour really allows you to appreciate more of the unique geology, flora, and fauna of the region. Click our link in the top right or in the description to book this incredible tour.
Party at a beach club. You'll notice the beachfront in Tulum is run a little differently than your average beach destination. Along the sandy shorelines, in an area called the Hotel Zone, you'll find tons of different beach clubs with daybeds, lounge chairs, pools, restaurants, and more. But the catch is that most of these beach clubs require a minimum spend or cover charge to use their facilities. However, many beach clubs are also hotels. So if you book accommodation with them, it's one of the best ways to gain access to beach club amenities. And if you're just a visitor, be aware that hotel guests usually get first priority on the daybeds, etc. Beach club pricing does fluctuate with the time of year. During our visit in April, we found many of the popular clubs to require a cover charge of $65 per person or more. But sometimes part or all of the cover can go towards your food and drink. There are also a handful of beach clubs that don't require a minimum spend, rather they just ask you to make a purchase at the club. If you're looking for some budget-friendly beach clubs, here's our advice. One of the days we ventured to Kaan Hotel and Beach Club. You're able to park in the small lot if you make a purchase of at least $15 per person, which is much more reasonable. Plus, we were planning on getting dinner anyways, so this minimum was easily attainable. I can suggest this place for the low cost and quiet relaxation, but many of the beach chairs were not exactly level, and all the beach palapas were reserved for hotel guests. Another day, we headed to Delect Beach Club, which again, technically has no minimum spend, but they do ask each person to consume one meal and one drink while you're there. We arrived pretty early and got an amazing location front row with shade. And after walking down the beach to check out some of the other beach clubs, I can highly recommend Delect. Choosing which beach club to visit can kind of be overwhelming. So like I said, Delect is my personal recommendation, but it does get pretty popular in the early afternoon. If you're looking for a party vibe with DJs and more luxurious amenities, consider Taboo or Papaya Playa Project, but expect a much higher minimum spend at these locations. Some other recommendations that were suggested to me are Tulum, Mia, La Zebra, Lula, and Ana'i Jose. But like I said, there are tons, so check out local blogs to get a better idea on which beach club might fit your vibe best. I should note that technically all beaches in Tulum are public, but the development along the coast certainly makes public beach access difficult, with practically wall-to-wall hotels all along the hotel zone, and fee area of Jaguar Park covering much of the coast north of that. However, if you're looking for free public beach access, you can find an entrance just south of the sign La Cochita Hotel.
Tulum Ruins. The ancient Mayan Tulum Ruins are definitely the most popular attraction in Tulum. These well-preserved Mayan ruins sit atop a gorgeous location on the bluffs just north of Tulum. This walled city was an important location for trade and worship. It's fascinating to explore this archaeological site, learning about the ancient Mayans, their culture, beliefs, and to see like 1,000 lizards who have made this their fortress. For the most informative experience, we recommend going with a tour guide who can color your experience with stories, answer questions, and bring the history to life. You can still explore without a guide, but your learning is somewhat limited to what's on the information placards. As this is one of the most popular places in Tulum, here are some tips for visiting. The tickets to see the ruins are open every day from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. You can somewhat avoid crowds and the midday heat by going right when they open, but tour buses start showing up shortly after that. Payment for entry is a little bit confusing, because first you need to pay the entry fee for the National Park del Jaguar, and the ticket building is a little hidden off to the right. Once you enter the national park, the ruins are about a 10-minute walk from the entrance, or you can ride their free shuttles instead. Then, there's a separate entrance fee of 100 pesos to enter the archaeological site, or the ruins. The beach right below the ruins was closed when we visited. The cove had trapped lots of sargassum, so I'm not sure anyone would have wanted to be down there anyway. And there's another public beach just south of the ruins that you can access from the south end of the park.
Check out the local art scene. Tulum is definitely known for its bohemian chic vibe, and it's located all over the area. Personally, I'm a huge fan. This was literally the theme of our wedding. You can simply walk around the area or go into some of the local art museums to get a closer view. But I do have some advice. My group mistakenly thought by booking a dinner at Quinto at Azulik would allow us access to walk around this luxury resort and see its true magic. But come to find out, we were only allowed to walk around the restaurant, which is very cool, but the meals are outrageously expensive. Like meals starting at $75 a plate. And really, the flavors were kind of just okay, and not really authentic dishes to the area. Which is kind of one of my favorite parts of traveling, to try the authentic local foods. So my advice is to just visit the museum here. It costs about $24 per person, and you can spend as much time as you like. Or, of course, head to the famous wooden lady at Escatera Van a la Luz. But do expect long lines here, especially to get a photo with the wooden lady. And of course, you don't even have to pay to get to experience the local art scene. Little gems are located all around the area. Even walking into some of the beach club entrances or local stores is like walking through a cool art exhibit. For example, this little shop in the hotel zone had a beautiful setup with local goods, and through the back was a beautiful cenote. So just walking around Tulum in both downtown and the hotel zone, there's tons of little gems that you don't even have to pay for.
Kaan Luum Lagoon. Just a short drive from town is the majestic Kaan Luum Lagoon, which in Mayan means yellow earth, but it's also referred to as the eye to heaven, which refers to the deep holes surrounded by the shallow shores, resembling an eye. It becomes more apparent if you're able to get any sort of aerial view, which luckily they have a raised platform that can provide a better view. The deep blue section in the middle is actually a cenote that's located within the lagoon, and it's one of the deepest cenotes in the area, extending to depths of 240 feet. The price to enter the area is 300 pesos per adult if you're a foreigner, with cheaper prices for Mexican citizens, locals, and children. And the hours are 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Visitors are welcome to swim in the shallow waters that surround the cenote. And what might surprise you is that the lagoon is entirely fresh water. So for those who don't like swimming in salt water, this could be a nice place for a day of swimming. There are 2 docks, floating hammocks, and a fun viewpoint overlooking the lagoon. There are also some man-made swings and structures for a photo op, which honestly is not really our vibe. Like, why not just let the beautiful nature speak for itself? But anyway, something important to know is that sunscreen is not allowed here, so it's best to visit early or have some sort of sun protection layer if you visit during midday.
rent bikes to ride around town. Renting bikes in Tulum was by far one of the most fun ways to get around the area. And I've noticed it does seem like they're building up the newer roads and bike paths to be more bike-friendly. Renting a bike costs about $10 to $15 per day. The more days you rent, the cheaper it tends to be. I have no idea why, but taxis in the area are absolutely bonkers pricing. For example, we took a round-trip taxi to Cenote Calavera from our hotel, which was about 2 miles one way. This cost us 1,500 pesos, which equals about $76. So my advice is to avoid taxis at all costs. It's practically a scam. If you want to head to some places a bit further away, then consider renting a motorbike. The first half of our trip, we spent exploring some of the gems on the outskirts of Tulum, and the second half, riding bicycles around to closer attractions. The roads here are kind of set up interestingly, as they are 2-lane traffic, but the breakdown lane is kind of where the motorbikes that are driving slower ride. The farthest thing we went to was Kaan Lagoon, about 20 minutes away, but I wouldn't recommend going much further than that on a motorbike, because it's not super comfortable and highway driving was rather intimidating. But the motorbike saved us a ton of money versus paying the insane taxi prices.
Sip some local tequila or mezcal. When in Mexico, you have to try the Mexican tequila or mezcal. It's the real deal here. You'll spot margaritas and mezcalitas on nearly every menu. But if you want to go beyond the basics, head to a proper mezcaleria. We checked out Mamul Tulum Mezcaleria, and wow, they have more varieties than we could even count. Whether you're a seasoned sipper or just mezcal curious, it's a fun spot to sample authentic, high-quality spirits. And heads up, the drinks here were a bit on the pricier side, but they definitely make some classy, delicious cocktails. Also, I'm gonna have to make the spicy rim a new addition on my homemade margaritas.
Thanks for coming along on another Two Roaming Souls adventure. If you found this video helpful, give it a like, and be sure to subscribe because up next, we're sharing some helpful tips to know before traveling to Tulum. We will leave all the links we talked about in the description below, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.